Vanished. The Joe Keller Enigma. Rocky Mountain National Park. A place of beauty and unforgiving wilderness. It was here, in the summer of 2015, that 41-year-old Joe Keller vanished. He was an experienced hiker. He embarked on a solo trip. He was never seen alive again. July 23, 2015. A hike begins. Joe Keller set off in the morning. He was familiar with the challenges that lay ahead. His destination: the rugged peaks of Mount Meeker and Long's Peak. These two towering giants stood as sentinels with their snow-capped summits. They were both a challenge and a reward for those who dared to climb them. He planned a difficult loop, the route traversing dense forests, rocky terrain, and steep slopes. He left his car at the Long's Peak trailhead. The trailhead was a popular starting point for many hikers. Joe locked his car and began his ascent. He carried a map, compass, and provisions. His backpack was filled with essentials: water, food, a first aid kit, and extra layers of clothing. Joe was well prepared. The mountains were known for their unpredictable weather. He wore sturdy boots, a weather-resistant jacket, and a hat to shield him from the sun. The forecast had promised good weather. Hikers reported seeing Joe on the trail that day. Every witness described him as being in high spirits. He was last seen near the tree line. The tree line marked the transition from forest to alpine terrain, a critical point in the hike. Joe paused to take in the view. This would be the last time anyone would see him. He was heading towards the demanding Narrows section. The Narrows was a notorious part of the trail, a narrow path with steep drop-offs on either side. It required careful navigation. Then Joe disappeared. What happened to Joe remains a mystery. The search for Joe Keller. Days had passed without any sign of him. The trails filled with the sounds of search parties and helicopters. A week passed without any sign of Joe. Joe Keller did not return to his campsite. It remained untouched, his gear undisturbed. Park rangers launched a massive search and rescue operation. They mapped out the area, coordinating with local authorities and volunteers. The search area was vast, and the terrain was unforgiving. Hundreds of volunteers joined the effort. They combed the backcountry. They used helicopters and dogs, but the dense forest and rocky terrain made the search incredibly challenging. The search continued for 10 grueling days. Exhaustion set in, but the searchers pressed on. The National Guard was called in. Experienced mountaineers joined the search parties. Their expertise was crucial in navigating the treacherous terrain. They brought with them advanced equipment and a wealth of experience. They faced treacherous conditions. They battled fatigue and frustration. The weather was unpredictable, with sudden storms and heavy rains making the search even more difficult. Yet they persevered. Every lead turned into a dead end. The mystery deepened. A breakthrough came on August 2nd. Searchers discovered Joe's backpack. It was found near the base of a steep, rocky slope. The backpack was intact, lying there as if it had been carefully placed. The location was remote, far from any established trails, making it an unlikely spot for someone to leave their belongings intentionally. It contained some of his gear. Items like a flashlight, a map, and a first aid kit were neatly packed inside. These were essential items for survival in the wilderness, raising questions about why Joe would leave them behind. His food and water were untouched. This was particularly puzzling. In a survival situation, these would be the first things one would reach for. The fact that they were left untouched suggested that Joe might not have been in a state to use them, or perhaps he had left in a hurry. His wallet and identification were inside. These personal items indicated that Joe had not planned to abandon his backpack. There was no sign of a struggle, no note. The lack of any disturbance suggested that whatever had happened to Joe, it had occurred without a fight. No indication of what might have happened. No clues to the searchers. Why would Joe leave his backpack in such a remote location? What had happened to him after he left it? Had Joe abandoned his backpack intentionally? If so, why? Was he trying to signal for help, or had he been forced to leave it behind? Did he fall victim to the treacherous terrain? It was entirely possible that Joe had an accident and was unable to return to his backpack. Or was foul play involved? This was another grim possibility. Investigators carefully examined the backpack and its contents. Each item was scrutinized, but nothing provided an answer. The disappearance of Joe Keller remains an unsolved mystery. His case continues to baffle investigators. Did Joe lose his way in the unforgiving terrain? Did he succumb to the elements? Or did something more sinister befall him? The answers remain elusive. The mystery may forever lie hidden. Thank you for watching. If you like exploring the world's strangest unsolved mysteries, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell for more missing stories like this. Stay curious, and I'll see you next time.